Welcome. Come on in. Say hello. Or not, as you're muted, so you can't really do that. I was going to shave today and I forgot. I'm sorry. Welcome to the Brooklyn Rails Wednesday afternoon online poetry series. We have a terrific reading for you today. It's called Hit the Lights, a rail reading curated by Patrick Hill. Patrick will be reading along with Claire DeVoogd, Abby Romine, and Jordan Davis. I'll introduce them each in a predetermined order. And first, I'll just say a couple things that I try to think of different ways to say every week, because it's kind of the same thing that you have to say. This is the 870,000th episode of the Nude Social Concoction. This is also the 145th of these poetry readings. We're here every week. If you've not been here before, you might take a look at the chat from time to time for information on the readers and their various endeavors. Somebody's texting me. It's Fong. He just told me I'm fired. Okay. But only after this reading. And there'll be some information about the Brooklyn Rail itself. My name's Sir Thomas Wyatt. I am host these readings along with the terrific staff of Carolyn, Chloe, and Eleanor, and various others. And this is going to be a terrific reading. And then I'm leaving the country. I was really glad to get Patrick to put this reading together. I think he might be a little nervous, so be nice to him when it comes on to read, or don't heckle him. I mean, do heckle him. Anyway, our first reader is going to be Abby Romine. I have been told that at readings, Abby always reads first, which seems to me to be unfair, but because Abby is a consummate professional, this is how things go. Abby is a sentimental poet and ceramicist from the Valley. Her work is marked by melodrama, irrelevant humor, and premature grace. She wrote this. I didn't write this. You can find her online at Sib3 Earth 33lings, or in real life, waiting for two parallel lines to meet. Her hair has grown long from waiting. Please welcome Abby to the Rail Reading Series.
Thank you. Again, this is a little surreal because Patrick and I usually host readings in each other's living rooms for like 11 people. So it's really exciting to see him curate for like a large audience. And I'm honored to be included in this group of poets. But with that, I'll get on with it. So thank you, Patrick. So I've got a couple poems for you today. The first one is called Concerned in Tennessee. If I'm batting 500, I'm with the greats, or an alcoholic, my father says. Memory is the feeling that I get when I see you. Gross chairs, a normal amount to spend on lunch. Feels like old times, except I'm fat and you're old and he has a Wrangler shirt. I need to feel more grounded. My mother tells me to eat a potato. I am thankful for the clarity of my cup. I hate when things feel new, so I let my hair grow and grow. I can't seem to imagine one new thing that's impossible to break. God is a whole, not in a dirty way. I'm trying to replace your love with the invisible so no one can see when I inevitably end. I'm full of ends that round themselves off back into the circle, down with the California rocket fuel. If I exist only for grief, I have to have known pleasure. I'm in search of the memory that cracks the vastness and leaves some stone fruit or some shit that plugs me in. God is a placeholder for me, grace number one, observations of blood and water, bleeding and leaking, you change your image. I want to think of something funny. I'm pinning my sadness to you, so like a donkey's ass, it has a reason. I'm not being funny, I want to be funny. I want to turn an endless string into a knot. I tie it with my tongue back to stone fruits. I want to be cherry in the old way. I hate that cherry means sex and devils too. I want Satan to watch me drive by and say, my ride is cherry. And then we have sex. I'm kidding, I'm kidding. I got to the joke, but I'm just visiting like a live recording. I hope you'll let it loop. Generic compliment. You took such a good laugh that day you took a nap. I saw the world on view in my dream. It's just a large eye with cataracts. If I can't touch death, why would I look? In the pool, I like to scream underwater. This next one has 2 titles, so I'm sorry if that is something that annoys you, but both things were true in the moment. So this is called To the Future, obviously, or I have a very accurate case of low self-esteem. Bubby, I'm searching for heaven with a shovel. Really, I'm at McDonald's. Really, I'm picking at a piece of light, refusing to be solid like the LA River pretending to be water. I'm bringing weird energy to the center of the universe, narrowing my worlds like a hamster sucked up by a vacuum. I'm worldless, doing girl things, parallel parking, ugly shoes, burgers at the beach. I'm a human Swiss Army knife carrying 24 red roses and delusions all my own. Endless tractor glamour shots, band-aid birthmarks, sparking birds. Yes, I've decided I want to be loved. Isn't that a rotten thing? Look at me. I'm green on Mulholland Drive. You're not God, you're not even close, but I love your face, your glasses, and my purse. You don't know I keep rocks in there. Mommy, I have rocks in my tummy. I feel sorry for the stones that don't fit. It's the age of leaking, of complex modesty, a slapstick comedy. Humans are no longer in their element. Intermittent nowness, the gentle persuader. Reality robot never throws away a symbol. I'm transparently false, holding on to patterns with the vulnerability of a left-hand turn or a middle-aged man trying to be younger than last year. Would you believe me if I told you squirrels were immune to electricity? Extension using towel, extension using pole, youth inscribed with instructions for the underworld. I turn eyelashes into offerings, tunnels into shrines, shoulders into wishes. My blood is dark and fast. Billboard tells me to make teeth sexy. Get a hobby. Move more slowly than anything else. Don't shoot the messenger. He's a cowboy looking for a blue hole. Buddy, I slept with your ashes and felt jealousy. Isn't that a rotten thing? You caught me on my way up. And then I have 2 more for you. This one is called Spoon. I wear bows in my hair and a band-aid on my leg, and for some reason, man thinks I'm a child. That dog's a prick. You agree. Heaven is whatever I want it to be. You couldn't even begin to understand the feeling of making your mother cry. You couldn't even begin to imagine Owen Wilson as like an important artist. You will never get me to try and describe this hole, the one I dug to get to you. The organ is mobile, the river pursues me, I'm giving sentience out like candy. This is the most fun I've had all summer, and I've had a fun summer, John. Everything comes out in bruises on my back. Think of me as a child, as young as I am light, the motley fool with her rhetorical shovel. Bubby, remember how you laughed, as sure as the sun will never love you back. Now it's not so funny. The tight 5 is loose. Everyone tells me to come to you. And then my last one is called King of the Hill Politics. The woman inside me has been hurting. I'm on the phone with my mother narrating how fast the dogs are running and how big the sticks they carry. I keep thinking I see people I know, feeling I love, people I keep, episodic revelations. I would have been home sooner if I didn't stop at the corner to tie my shoe. Thank you.
Thanks, Abby. That was amazing. How is Pratt going to survive? Our next reader is going to be Jordan Davis. Jordan's third collection, Yeah, No, is forthcoming in 2023, which I think is this year, from MadHat. His chapbook, Hidden Poems, has just been published by If a Leaf Falls Press in the UK, and another chapbook, Noise, will appear from Canada's Above Ground Press before the end of the year. A former poetry editor of The Nation, he also once hosted the live talk show, The Million Poems Show. And for several years in the 90s, he organized the Poetry City reading series for teachers and writers collaborative, which at the time was not only the best series in New York City, but the only one that was any good at all until the
Well,
fall
now.
of 1998. Please
Wow.
welcome Jordan Davis to the Braille reading series.
Thanks, Anselm. There was the Zinc Bar, and there was Shanae. There were good readings. But thank you. That's very kind. Thank you all for coming out, and thanks, Abby. That was fun, and I hope this is not too cringy. This is a series written after I had the insight that the line in the Zohar about creation being written in white fire on black fire could describe a computer screen. This is called Black Notebook for Guston. And that's Philip Guston. Ass so white it lights up the room, darkened by blackout shades. Cartoons are problems in which old ladies say, temper, temper, and you, a tomcat, have to learn how to process emotion in a divided, cruel world. You can't just hit your feelings with a frying pan and laugh when they take the shape of the pan. You have to eat what there is to eat, and what there is to eat is what is left over. From whom? What's their deal? Some point along the way, really early, there was a crime, and who did it doesn't matter, and it can't be fixed, not by you. It can't be fixed, and by the way, people suffer every day in obvious ways that, oh well, it ain't my fault, isn't changing a thing about. Ass so white it volunteers for duty in a copier, day in, day out, duplicating its white ass. Oh, this is interesting. Got turmeric on my white paint pen, and now it's black and gold. Golden milk is my afternoon pick-me-up, and I feel less pain. Chocolate, though, works like marijuana. Give me curry. What nighttime, what skinny past aeronaut huffing across the indignities, squeaking their demands. It's the usual clicking and dicking around for a lifetime. But you know. Catlight. Catlight for snake eyes and say more in the laundry. Catlight for snake eyes and say more on the phone. Lightwave on the payphone. What's a payphone? What's a lightwave? Catlight on the payphone. What's a catlight? What's a payphone? Take back that time out. Make back that time. Take back that catlight. Make back that catlight. Nobody notices, nobody nothing. Nobody notices that catlight. Take down the skylight and put up the catlight. Something goes overboard wearing its catlight over its heart. Something goes overboard wearing its catlight. Take back the catlight and listen for reasons. Take back the catlight like a gift you don't want. Listen harder for the face in the granite. Send it a letter, then listen for labor. Fraction of invisibility, shroud light, sanctified trace. I do a sound effect in this next one. Waves disappearing into the sand. "1999 all the time," shouts the scariest voice on television, and I'm on the couch thinking in rhythm and unmuting the TV whenever the voice says, "1999 all the time." Tie back its waves with the sheaf of its unbearable force. We're smart at what we're smart at. There's nothing people don't understand how powerful the teacher's teachings are. That's me. That's my own personal beliefs. That's been proven in the streets. She knew what I was going to do when I went out of the house all day. Big guys, small guys, and I came home tired. Are you single? Of course not. Of course not. But you follow what I'm saying. That's so much more independent learning, independent leaving. That's what everybody knows. All the rich people, all these rich people. Is that him standing next to me? But I'm getting rebraided soon. Why do girls like braiding? Why? Dude, silver on black looks white in the light. Game without me opening a book. This is me real fast. Do not outshine loved ones. Men have it. People will cut your feet right out under you. Doesn't matter if you're the best dressed, best smelling, best looking. If they have more power, they will cut your feet right out under you in the light as it goes. This is the game white people have been playing. Do you play cards? Would you show me your hand? Don't show me your hand. Game is lyric. The 48 laws of power. These muffers. Dude, I'm going to beg you, go back to the beginning, read it again. A book I wrote about today. An anchor to the bottom of the sea. They don't want us to know. Spitting game stops when she gets off at her stop. It's a circuit. It has to be complete for the talking to happen. And the talking has to be for something to mean anything. Not even for a chance. There doesn't even have to be a chance. But is it possible to live across the Caribou Divide and purchase pigment from the wind with clarifying trouble steel? I think so. The paint compounds a breathing space we oversee, intending to keep moving. What paint? Wet paint. Which, when, where, how, why, what paint? Pain paint. Feeling faint paint. Living large like going hard in the paint paint. Cringe paint. Face paint. What paint? Wet paint. What paint? Oh, darkness. If you want to come closer, I will sit right here and wait. Online for a swab test, the mob guessed ate a bird nest. Rhyme takes your brain away, replaces it with games. Replace my brain with games so I don't accidentally seize power. Uh-oh, someone whose brain was replaced with games seized power. Is the night a true up or a true down? Do you treat everyone you see like a tree you rub your back on? How does this work, sweet poison? Do you make the night a knife? Do you run down the stairs holding the fire tight? A magic word is a serious thing to be handed in a dream. A magic wand seems a little rude to talk about, a serious debt to an aging science. Sufficient zero bleeds into the light. Let's take the piss out of the stars. Is this a realism companions delight in abolishing? Give me the arrow. I want to volunteer for espionage mischief. Go into the bee and stay there. I'm allocating my surf dreams to a biofilm, learning to meet again. Breathing is such a big deal. Taking the pie out of the oven and thinking through parallel bars. Some cleaning out the heart takes precedence overboard. Be good to everyone, including yourself. The territory has a deed. I'm giving you this grave. Don't use it now or anytime soon. Let's play a game or two. Let's play all the games and feel the wall as a promise to keep us safe. Shining a light in the field. I learned the field is uneven and changes from dirt soil to sand. Keep moving towards your heart. And when you get there, keep moving towards it. I want something I can't identify out loud, and that makes me worried that I'm a person I would be scared of. Sing, singer, Aseninger, sing while the day disappears into clay, into rock, into walks along a dock. Just sing, singer, just sing. The followers come walking, half attending, half in space, and you can't turn their heads for them. A guest, a geist, an apron to the tomb. The parchment is the battery, the power shining from the brow. A name I sing for as long as it lasts, and it lasts forever. A light that stays crashing in the darkness. A little library inside to listen to in the earthquake. Rescuer, how are you when the telephone is quiet and no one needs your power? What do you do when the machine works? Rescuer, rescue yourself from the other end of the line. What a great notebook, the world. What a foul odor, the opposite of incense, but not in anger, the young leaves stirring our energies like kittens, mastering sullenness. I see into the distance news of snakes and cattle, all of this coming towards us and going past, as everything does and will do. Fear the day everything comes to stay. True, in certain corners, I see them gather on certain corners, hidden from themselves, lost in the day stream, turning over and over. It is true and certain they will be there tomorrow and tomorrow. It's a blessing on the God block. I need more space and quiet light. Well, go on down to the corner then. Mistakes I have made don't even like me. And here I am surrounded by books. Go far down the stairs and make a city on the landing. If you make it big enough, no one will ever leave it, and then they all will. And oh God, those novels will be exhausting. I look at a novel and wonder how anybody could get used to living among others if this is what they feel, as if life is supposed to scale. A chaos of anemones, somewhere in Montenegro, the precipice in Gabardine, a shoe store in Temecula, a type of dream you synthesize, far fire taking carousel, commuting via carousel, the mayor of comparison, the system said I had a job, the story of a derriere, dead butt syndrome general in work from home environments. I saw what they were frightened of, tomorrow on the carpet, Hugh Capet and the mayonnaise. No one thinks that, baby doll, is not an argument I employ. Society is not ideal. The rivers rise at random, or what we know is just a part. The knowledge of the bellows, you open them and they inflate, and purpose comes a knocking. A book I wrote about today, she tells you just keep walking. A widow with a shotgun, a place in town sells Perrier. The trucks don't come that often. The law makes many little jokes that righteous people can't acknowledge, and if they did, would we depend on something like a cummerbund? We must get through this book of night by resting in the darkness. Entire championships converted to a stepping stone of alphabet with white fire on black fire, they write, the fourth leg of the letter S, a silent letter like a flame, a soul that changes when it's next, beginning from a purpose dream, then dealing with reality as in to make a deal to trade. The story says you have to talk at length for years and say the same thing as a new song. The new song is the far flame. It must be made again, complete. They close their doors against it, which I can understand completely. Except that taking care of us is turmeric and rope work for a sailor in the desert, indifferent paraphrase of truth. The truth exists in just two ways, direct quotation, paraphrase. And those who say it's fire's place to referee the length of days presume a human agency. I can't connect with anything. Just read a couple more. A category error, discovered after years as an unhappy light bulb in your tuna salad. The time in your heart makes a personality touch every rock experience dictates. How do you dictate rocks? Are you a rock dictator? Millions dying in Siberia for a play on words. Something on your mind is weighing down your head, and friction in your heart is breaking down your bed. A category error, a storm inside a teacup, an agony, a terror, a long unrolling prenup. No sleep-wake phrase come tumble in, but responsibility, that worry man who keeps me alive, that worry man who talks past his talk so the specifics go on through on the river, whole trees in the river. Hold trees in the river, hold days in the trees, hold milk in the fridge, whole undivided. The presence wants you to keep going, blurry eye law. Time, whole time, everything divided, some parts set apart. Black t-shirt with a hole on the belly, not a big hole, just a dot of white. Asking for a dream and getting told no. Why does it rotate on its axis? Does everything feel irrational hate? Underground department of hide and seek. My fantasies are moving though, and they come towards me, walking on top of my spinning self as it floats down the river of the sky. All right, last one. Full moon. The involuntary memories. Are they really only telling ourselves either what we want to hear or what we refuse? That seems like only sorrow of the will, not a reason to drag a truthful here, a fantasy of invulnerability that shakes its distribution. Sing the way the world works its apportments into a prop. Is that it? And we're the props. Why be the dull amalgams was Kenneth's question, who wanted at least to stand astride the world and found a roost and had the means. Grief makes strangeness normal and the normal supercilious. And the words all a great distance from each other on platforms several miles up come closer, words in the roaring vents. The dull amalgams of our fathers and our mothers, who after all were not dull. Fear and hope in this political moment are different sizes, like the moon and the sun. One is much closer and made of stone falling toward us, which is only obvious during an eclipse. Thanks.
Thanks, Jordan. Next time I see you in person, I got to ask you to do that voice. Our next reader is going to be Claire DeVoogd. Claire is a poet Her debut poetry collection, Via, is forthcoming in fall of this year from Winter Editions. A chapbook, Apocalypses 1 through 12, was published with the Belladonna Collaborative. She co-edits a fly-by-night chapbook press. Terrific books. Recent poetry and other writing can be found or is forthcoming in, I don't know how to say that, Pfeil Magazine? Do you say the P? Pfeil? Pfeil Magazine, but it's spelled P-F-E-I-L. And Prelude Magazine and Elsewhere Magazine. Right now, she's making an essay film about history, poetry, and place with the filmmaker Nate Lavey. Please welcome Claire to the Rail Reading Series.
Hi, everybody. So I don't have a printer, so I haven't printed anything out, and I don't have a copy of my own book. So I'm just going to be looking straight at you, reading.
Claire, is that the first poem?
This is called Si Steviator. Did I get disconnected? Weird. Sorry, everybody.
Cool, don't worry.
I'll start over. Or should I start over? Was I heard at all? I was heard. Was not heard. Okay. All right, I'll start over. Get all my windows organized here. All right. So this is called Si Steviator. Today shaking wakes me at 4. Dream I take you to my hometown. It's all different. Hannibal is there with a legion of miniature elephants. Oh, that's how, I say to myself. They're smaller than dogs. Sorry, I didn't realize it was like this. I don't know how to lead you to the water's edge my friends go across to die in. Sorry, the English is bad. The night water there licks at black stones like pupils mirrors watch. Mirrors rattle in their frames. Stacy wanting to know about the Taliban. This is not the war, is it? A glass shatters. Frogs in the pool. In wartime, it's easy for us down here to think of love, and Britney Spears is there twirling with her eyes smudged dark with mirrors for us that stars reflect. Everyone says, what is she doing? I'd like to kill her, then save her, then kill her, then save her, then kill her. She is an identical, immediate blade. A frog in the pool is dying. In the noise, there is tension, as in that which compels oil from hot iron, the oath taken in strange hands to overstep the burning heart. Let everyone save themselves, like money, air, Jesus, art. What are they doing with the general of the enemy? Pay attention. There are lessons in these disposals. Name streets, make fiction. Caress me, I am a fact. Caress me to consequence, I am a simple fact. The war is moving, it is moving around. You can hear it upstairs, downstairs, groaning, spitting, bile in the sink. The sky at dawn is drenched in lavish color, and this means something, one or the other, not both. Coral bleeding off ornate impediments leaks down. Bones sink. Suspect everyone. The frog which saved itself laughs deep in its throat on blue mosaics from Goddess. Damask of Istanbul is cheap in the chintzy sitting room of an expert character sketch. Henry the Navigator says characters can't think, they lack power. In India, Miss England with her springtime arts. Speak of home, my son, come west. At yellow sunset, Phoenician tombs empty miraculously of the corpses and are reused. Scott sits in one to read an American novel. This picture, proof. Pictures, bindings, these constitute the truth. Why must there be something underneath this flower in thought? There is not. The flower is soil, each root a petal of it. That is what Brittany's saying. Books obliterated make the gods only images the light things take to make spikes. Dogs' teeth scrape hard on the bone, and in the pool rain is boiling water to mirrors, warring with wet roots that tangle in frogs' legs and eyes of gold foil that blink from the sides. Adorned with huge workforces, we're building with stone, with granite loaves spangled with mica. What is that workforce making in the provinces but suffering, leaping, sparking like particles? Forms follow one another, rolling over mountains, becoming historical, marked with cairns that mimic them. The light begins to spike. This is like a game, but it isn't one. Dido is there. Dido's in Marfa reading Henry James. In Port-au-Prince, Aimé Césaire, feeling with fingers for what constitutes the face. A man puts a gun against his brother's cheek, another takes a picture. At least the president knows how to grieve today, reads the paper. It is a bloodless act, for in his veins runs syrup, milk, that black of powder, no world's coming or enough. Pittsburgh's having a renaissance, Carnegie a green hill the coals come out of under Queen Anne's lace, nodding pungent above strange fallen ground earlier invested, shoveled to Iowa where Romans failed to profit. The president loves trains, so does Neil Young. Airlines sell wishes, not flights, says Sahar. The money you have will be heaps, you won't sleep. Regulations, paper borders gone to unclear purpose. Everyone with their secret information attaching to their spines. The old men will be mad, will be made like Brittany to dance the paper dance behind rich screens. Suns beyond suns. Can you see the beauty of the place you are from? Stacy asks to such a degree. What does this taste mean but more delicious fruit? Peach, peace. Andrew and Abby paint, drink, have a fight. In the morning, their eyes soft from crying, sex, some release. Sugar settles in Chinese plastic bowls to pastel silk, glinting, strange echo rings. What about the children? Give them things, suffer them into history, a golden charm, teach them to run, to hold hands. Their mouths take the war like the earth takes those dark bubbles to die in, to pipeline, as veins in the dust bowls worm underneath. At dinner, we agreed to be eaten. Our creature grays simple in candlelight. In winter, the Alps await a nervous breakdown. To read it means to know it, the whole wide whirling mirror, solar grammars turn to satellite of silver alloy, alpine or another smell, the dampness of brick walls. Sentiment fails at spring's end. See, nothing. Everyone grows irritable again in the afternoon. Wet clothes press flat on terracotta tiles. Fires start up or fail to start. The sun eats blood, don't look at it. Born so large and prone upon the tiny ground, one hates the sun, how it beats and beats down, its pulse seeming an iron mimicry, suffusing the universe with color, with power, with vision, suggesting the right form could save you, some archipelago invention, that step by which to slit the throats of murderers become a foot to drag behind the beat of all the lurid Delawares. Beat drums. I wish you were all right, that clouds would stop eradicating my friends, that there were great men who could survive in history and make the world anew like rain does seem to, that the paths the goats walk up the Hindu Kush could bring it somewhere not fictional, no power, no one had too much, that I had seen it, that I knew I had, that I always knew what a dream was a really great man. I could just be in love and speak every language, even the birds. They'd stop building this machine that kills everyone. Here, to things, here would bathe Cuauhtémoc, king, crossed, alien killed in the European style. Cortez, grim clerk doing the soles of his feet, big by Siqueiros for America coming out of the pre-dawn. Try again, imagine, pray, scream, wish Shakespeare had written this play, that we get ahead of ourselves, ahead of this wave of wings, sails, bright tapers, lifting and sinking in sea, interpret them anew. That holy brand is phosphor and the gold long pounded thin to reliquary cosmological diction. Stacy cutting yellow fruit, Andrew laughing, playing the American songbook reinvented in cigarette smoke, dens with flammable sofas where there's red wine, weak drugs, psyops and assassination in the 70s to fictionalize you. You do not let go of me. Then that influence mingles with those of Islamic Iberia, mercury bitten from soil, the substance of souls, good banana. Now plates are falling from open windows. To sing of kings make worlds from profane futures ring on vested stone. Now we are at the beach. It's not a frontier. Bloody flag. It is dangerous to swim today. Someone is calling, is waving from shore. Simple signs words seem and seeming seem to stay. Unspeakable body, unpeaceful doorway, cease stay devourer. I answer her with a myth. One day I married Marie, a sementician. He would say a word and then say, that's the wrong word, and go on. Still, he was always talking. I loved him so much I thought my jaw would break. We were making money-making syndicates into perfect humans in the semantic mode. They were full of will. They understood us and were certain, so deliberate. They dug so many holes in the ground. They were really passionate about providing us with these holes. It was both care and service. They asked us to climb in. We had cultivated such an affirmative imagination on our functionaries, having eaten too much yogurt parfait. We were dairy, no dairy people, and communicated like this till the words seemed to have no skeleton, no impact. They were liquefied like a protein shake with the letters and hearts blent and crimson bubbled in that very decisively pearled paste. And so we saw there was no other way and we climbed in. Apocalypse. Where city becomes a home for sunflowers, wires, and wild cats, beloved of truck drivers of the long haul. It's still not over, but the bloody fountains, watering gardens of wood chips in the dim fall for no one behind a low wall wherein our waste is treated. We climbed to the tops of some trucks and looked carefully. Still, we could not see it was over. Dream. There are 2 doors and 2 brothers, one asleep and one awake, she said. I looked where she pointed and saw the gate, all picked and fixed with gems. It seemed more like floating. I was loath to say it was mechanical, some early balloon or zeppelin of oak and pearl some days. Many of our common words are proper names, and they unlock things, shake them up, used correctly. It's startling to hear your proper name when you aren't expecting it. This is Rome, she said. It was white and slippery after the pointless night. I thought it was a new moon on which the gases hadn't settled yet, and things and their names were being demolished in a vacuum, a way of starting out. Apocalypse. She throws the ball very high, and I am a kid playing with a green ball as the soldiers stand by. Everyone plays a cop and a child. Enough, yes? I do not understand. Drink the deracinated tea. Divide each word by 10 and 10. Sentences sprout flowers in the dark. Box, X. The future sits with its mouth open very stupidly on a green coin with another question, and the soldiers go by. They are laughing. The past is a mythic green grotto, and the fish, rhino, human blood drips sibilantly from a laurel hung out to dry on the wire like a green question doily, and the sun eats it. Life is like that, funny in the end. I put this around my finger, and Mercury keeps playing on the table in the satellite clusters and soldiers. Enough. This keeps me in a small garden window in the background. Each thing is in the round, and each round grows soft blue, very small, with diamonds, bricks, selves, and platitudes. The green needs are shooting from each fried corpse. I took it off that body. The discourse seethes so the rocks are difficult to see. Pink froth and calf bones. My friend is brushing my leg. He takes my wet face in both hands. He pulls my hair to see if it's real. He puts his wet face on my face and screams, I am him. Enough. I stand in the medical position to talk and sway. The talk like a black wave rose open black where the sea table had been, and the soldiers walk, shooting stars breeding spacesuits in silver foil and delicate acid etching stroke to plunder the silver seed, then floating comet minnows pack out polyester eyes in the wash in the end. It is comfortable, expensive, and unfair. It is shredding. Enough. I am full. Go on. Apocalypse. There's always room for moving things, my mother once said. That's all we do, letting ourselves become ornamental. Or is it go? To start paradise again. Here's the boat. Here's the desert. You love flowers here. Apocalypse. And left, there's a tube of something like butter and blue that rests on the lower hill between strands, orbs, and the cat is doing something else. Things cut off and float on rims of others. Some you know by the shape of them, binoculars. And some shapes are how others, centuries, become separate, solid, take form from surroundings, cures, wars, the powerful sweeping down out of mountains or from the north, on horseback or infernally, set into scaffolds of doing the same thing over again with no difference, whirling or dragging, hanging. Now the cat is doing something else, sitting darkly in angles, breathless, the hair on its back slightly raised. Starlings, take note, pause in thy awful plunging, pouring earthwards, deathless through the gold units, through the white units with which all is decided, all finished for now, and the sharp quality of the heat units that stand still behind. I once read that almost every farmhouse in the Northeast at one time kept a copy of Inferno with the engravings by Doré. This is surely an exaggeration, but did find one once in a wooden chest at a cleanout near Syracuse in a red clapboard house that was coming down, along with the farmer's diary bound in red leather. It was terse, the book, most of the entries having to do with weather, but for a week or more in late winter, 1887, each day read, shot a fox, shot a fox, shot a fox. And the point holds, this kind of world having around a certain significance for that, with its doing of things in the fitting they have, how the hook fixes the frame, the tongue the premise, and how it seems then to summon itself wholly, more than even, a fine system totally, with the fox shape coming out of the dark area in the whitewash and being shot day after day, the earth turning over in damp agonies, the cut worm again signifying spring. Now the shape is almost too dark. It blurs. A lecture can be heard, archaeologies of something or other, cremations, teeth of dogs. Dream. But that is water, and I the unsure, unbelievable sense, to see as though my eyes were changed by the taking off of habit, that habit of waking up myself at blue day's start, at whistle, was wrapped in such turquoise consequence to see, as solidity dropped from matter, becoming below me all deliquescent and teary brine, and I the boat, the spine of which cut down and delicious shot along to meet itself again behind that, and under that, the sunlit moving place we traveled over. I'll just stop there. Thank you so much, Brooklyn Rail and Jordan and Abby and Patrick and Anselm for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Claire. Our next reader is going to be Aaron Perez. No, wait, sorry. No, our next reader is going to be Kate Colby. Okay, I'm just seeing if people are paying attention or not. Our next reader is going to be Patrick Hill, who is the curator of this event. Patrick is a 23-year-old poet, multimedia artist, and production assistant at a publication called The Brooklyn Trail. A graduate of Pratt Institute's BFA writing program, his work has spanned digital and physical mediums, including narrative, PowerPoints, web games, bootleg graphic TV shirts, and more. Known by some and feared by others for his rabid output and extreme do-it-yourself ethos, he lives and works in Brooklyn, New York with his partner, unless something terrible has happened in the last 5 seconds. Like Michael Jordan in the 90s, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Please welcome Patrick Hill.
God bless. That was an intro for sure. Anselm Berrigan, king of riffing. Geez, so thank you to Anselm for putting me up for this, and to Jordan and Claire and Abby for agreeing to hop on the bus with me, and to the Brooklyn Rail for being this insane organism, ecosystem, organization that I've had the very lovely privilege of getting to be a part of. After this, I got to go copy it at the magazine, so let's do it. Okay, this one's a new one. Please be nice to me. It's called New Body Cosmic. Down Poison Alley toward the skeleton cave, but behind the torment nexus, I considered jumping up as high as I could and hitting, with some force, the face on a mural of an old man staring rightward with the flag behind him. It was 2:59 p.m. I remembered that because I had to, but it doesn't matter. I was stoned, feeling naked, but the headphones on my head. I was listening to Wake of the Flood. I was listening to Wake of the Flood and thinking about the sphere inside the cube, the length of a city. Light slips streaming into cavernous tent folds, rich people drinking midday, balloons being filled and then exploding, collars and dresses perked vastly upwards, bad sneakers and a pina colada. They really liked the movie about the guy who built the bomb, other than the parts where people spoke, which were underwhelming in IMAX. Nearby plazas can vector a mounted monitor, air defenses, nurse practitioners needed. The baldest man I have ever seen on how we might defend our riches from our greed. Dog pig robots step on and off the credenza while the bolts move around the poles of the world. The kids atop the train are having the time of their lives. They're going to remember when the sky was yellow, maybe not snow in winter. I freak out a little by the park, almost laying down, almost smoking, not knowing what is to be done, or maybe not. Stupidity, I tell myself, is just a state of mind. Fog seeps in like glitter accident, pulsates alternating current frames per second, scarlet where the sky begins to slip toward heaven. Bike rack laid out atop a pond of gray water, shaking up and down against an election sign. There's a big party tonight at the end of meaning. Dress code is many-eyed or many-mouthed angel, melding post-digital circumference with high-stakes publishing, melding bitter circumstance through another fried initiation. I know poetry is about shaking hands, but boy are my hands shaking. There's a perfectly circular ring of plaster and wax, gilded twist of Murano glass, conch shell surmounted with lizard claw. I take the hit with the grace of a falcon in and out like a demon's whisper. It was pretty good. It was all right. It wasn't great, but it was fine. Outside, a dog is tied to a tree, a bottle on the ground. I pick up maybe 75 cents in quarters. Squirming Doppler shrieks treat the atmosphere itself as conquest. I think of SUVs ablaze, of the time we felt the sun just might come up on us. By my hand, nobody spoke to me except to say, "You promised not to die." I looked around and said, "If Jerry can turn 50, so can I." You know me now as someone who knows things. We live here with the orcas and loose news of war. But right at this moment, I'm just carrying the bird away. One day, in 20 years, we might be perfect adult strangers who greet each other in a Burger King. Okay, that's that one. Now let's do an oldie. Let's do an oldie. This is a COVID poem. It's made up of a ton of lines from other people. So if you're in this chat and I stole your line, again, please be nice to me. It's called The Heart. The way that story ended is how this one begins. Naked, as naked deliberates which side of the bed you're on, which frozen dinner tastes the least endemic, how things look through your ears. Each day, night cycle, the nurses zip the tents. One stranger, two strangers withhold an eternal want to have a chance at feeling visible once more. It's almost like that movie Avatar. I don't ever touch what's left and hardly look at you. But reciprocity is integral to love. Love is unknowable drift. Love is a cause coincident to dance. Your infectious laugh and ... dash, a movement we can cup our hands around, smallness all our lives contain. Me, I refuse to think of the alternative. The shape of my love is articulated at all the joints with posable arms and torso. You can put me anywhere your imagination takes you. But it's here that a paradoxical, if significant phenomenon becomes insurmountably evident. I'm frighteningly lost in the present. No ideas but things, the poet said. A red wheelbarrow, guy with gun on the sidewalk, big roll of tickets unraveling as they drop, the walk to the corner store staining us with time, passages endured and enduring to Winsome nerve, darling. It's hard to find the voice of a child, let alone someone our age at this stage in life and what has been at the heart. Yay, that's that poem. And now I'm gonna read sonnets. I love sonnets. Sonnets are a lot of fun. Let's denigrate the sonnet haters today. This one's called Many Such Cases. What appeared to be an angel was essentially an engine failure in the sky. What looks like rain is pumped in from a giant hose and effects crew in the sky. What appeared to be Jupiter, and I certainly thought so, was just another plane in the sky. So what? If I swirl the water in this glass fast enough, it goes over the rim and spills out onto the table. Nothing really more than that can happen in this lifetime, or yours. It's like the ending of Blade Runner. My name is Patrick. Thank you for reading my poem. Throw. In the morning with the smoking headache and the corn chips for breakfast again, I caught a glimpse of the moon behind the clouds, the plot of some movie I can't remember seeing in my head. When the rain finally came, I called Mom and I told her, I think it's okay that he's gone from me now. It's funny what happens when you let life win. A dumb smile, a chapped lip, frog in the throat. The dream here is one where I can move around and talk to you, and other than that, we're just dancing in the trees. The bad news is we're running out of time. Schematics show a large defect in the hull. A single proton torpedo, if fired precisely, could destroy this entire thing. I'm your frog. Double elbowed me, forgot a line. Another one of those social moments. I want to talk to people about you, being around, being, etc. I'm all wrapped up, you've got tummy aches, and we're both starving. I'm going to try and say everything all over again. Having discovered in the twilight years of this peculiar empire, the coffee in your eyes, the song of your devotions and their etudes having, mostly by accident, an enchantment spelling my blessings. Last sonnet, this one's called Cloud of Unknowing. Dead ahead, a blue-white point of light splintered in fours, remote sensor pursuit looping in evasive sputs. The yoke juked madly as space around me flared cadmium towards a respectable fraction of light speed. Magnetized target fusion, donut-shaped rings of plasma. The sound was terrible, the whole 9 yards and back. I went outside, then I went back in because I forgot to take out the trash. Right on. I have two more poems. This one you have heard, some of you have heard. It's called Autumn. I normally write a poem and then it goes on, it gets changed a little bit and then it goes on the computer and it lives on the computer and it never goes anywhere and it's dead. This is a poem that Anselm kind of encouraged me to keep at, and then I've developed a weird toxic relationship with it where sometimes I bomb it, sometimes I do well, sometimes I change it too much, sometimes I don't change it at all. So we're gonna try it this time. Maybe you've heard it 50 times, maybe this is the first time you've heard it. I don't know, we're just gonna give it a shot. I like this one, okay. Autumn. And I couldn't even muster up what I'd possibly say in the event of you, spot lit on blue. A beam arches out of Broadway and separate eternities within ourselves laugh at the grasp of sirens. Me, I haven't dreamt an inch since this embroidery myself. Weird city weepiness crowded with dusks and perfect silence. I couldn't tell you if it means anything at all, to try my hardest to flatten, to walk with you for ages. Now it is the quarter moon that hurtles me into the sun, that in my clumsiness I descend into your loudest chewing understatement. But our displeasure is like a living thing, like rotations of thin pine cones that emboss the soul or glisten across a pestilence that lines our lips. The future never happened here, despite the persuasion. The future certainly doesn't happen at Barclays Center. I hold up a line wrangling my pockets for debt. I'm older and more afraid of dying, each point of a moment within this trailing market declawed, newfangled, moping. So what on the A train, black flag on the G, wearing a mask you can see the lattice of, like the screws that hold the Tiffany gems into place. Pigs in the trough at Utica Avenue, and I lose my place in this poem. Now it's dark. Self-determination. I reek of neutral hypoallergens, the thought of toughness and burying Slurpee stains down my throat, trying to process this heat of being underfoot, escaping for a chunk of manufactured air among untreated decay, the circle that is called upon in coffee numbers among dead harvests, that seldom even one toss of crumbled package among concrete trodden ferns, that enormous instantation of unkindly fog, unkept swarm of distilled shivering in America's infinite setback. Such a weather as to confess through teeth the unexpected perdition, the ashes of lonesome things, woodland fauna from places I haven't even seen. That's why it's too cold for September. And also why it's just too hot all the time now. Anyway, last one. Thank you again, everybody, for coming and for being so cool. This is great. This is also a new one. It's called Disadvantages. There's something very nuclear war about all these. Anyway, disadvantages. Awake from usually violent acid dream to spheres of color and sound invading me like tiny figurines of ancient warlords. Puffs of smoke are on my toes. The whole wide world at my fingertips. A cup of water poured out on the floor. The tunnel painted on the door looking like I can walk right through no problem, but I don't. This time. I like this picture of a small desert cat gnawing on bones double its size. The situation is the boss, not the people involved. You will drink your coffee black sometimes. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Today it is Tuesday, etc. Some say there are circles. Others say a great wheel. Some come to laugh and some come to pass out. Some come moneyed and quickly disintegrate. Me, I'm on the couch reading Bernadette in my underwear. My phone says it'll rain. Your phone says it won't. The wind doesn't say anything at all. Dogs are barking, people pushing each other. Sky beams over dead trees quivering on cracked tile. An audio clip of the president being exactly, perfectly silent. A video of the time that they went to that place. A picture of the talk that was given about the essay. A man we both used to know is now going Joker mode. The kids around the block say they've caught E.T. They plan to see what he knows about the future. Then they're going to beat him with sticks just to see what happens. Beyond the wall, a vast string pulled taut spins a steel wire backwards and over again. Through this, I am speaking to you clearly, and you are on the other side of the earth. Between the checkpoints, a high energy field crashes two nucleic atoms into one single dot of absolute nothingness. I am speaking to you, though you are on the other side of the earth. Around back, there's an old sign that says this place was built to shelter people underground. You are speaking to me from the top of the stairs, about to close the hatch. I love you. Good night. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Patrick. That was terrific. And thanks, Abby and Jordan and Claire, and thanks everybody for coming. And just a reminder, these readings are they're always recorded and then put up on the Rails website. And so now there's this extensive archive of readings. There are some talks too that they seem to do on other days, but really you should just go back and look at the readings. And this one will be up sometime in the next day or two. And before we go off into the day to save ET from mean children with sticks, can we throw open everybody's mics to say hello and goodbye?
Thanks, Patrick. That was awesome. Thanks,
Thanks,
Claire. Thanks,
everybody.
Abby. It was a total joy to read with you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Jordan.
everybody.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Patrick.
Great
Thank you, Claire.
readings.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Claire.
Abby.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was great. Thanks.